Beth, thank you so much. Welcome inside our college basketball studios for the Audi Halftime Report. Championship Sunday has finally arrived. Glad you're with us. John Brickley alongside our bracketologist, Charlie Creme, the Hall of Famer, Rebecca Lobo, and Andy Landers. If you love offense, well, we had plenty of it in this first half of the rematch of the ACC Championship game between Notre Dame and Louisville. Rebecca, this is a Louisville team. Their legs are tired, and we've seen Notre Dame take advantage, especially in transition.
Well, you heard Courtney Lyle ask Muffet McGraw the question about points in the paint. 36 of their 48 points have come in the paint, and that's been by design. This is a team that's looking to push the pace and get the ball down the lane. Louisville played a lot of minutes. Their starters played a lot of minutes in the first two rounds of this tournament. And when these teams met in the regular season, Notre Dame was able to get Louisville into foul trouble and get to the free throw line. They're doing the same thing today in terms of the attack mentality. Louisville can't foul. They don't have the bodies to come in off the bench. That last possession is a perfect example. Jessica Shepard passes up an open look so she can drive in and get it to a teammate. So you see the difference in the minutes here for the starters and the bench. And again, that first matchup, Louisville didn't get to the free throw line. Notre Dame lived there, and they simply are refusing to foul. Notre Dame's taking it right at them as a result.
And for a Louisville team, Coach, they shoot 57% in the first half. All things considering, they're only down by 9 in the half.
Yeah, exactly. They've actually played pretty well, with the exception of giving up these drives and points in the paint. But the one piece that sticks out among everything else is their inability to rebound. When you play in tournament games, possessions are really important. Can't score without the ball. Louisville has not been able to rebound, particularly on the offensive end. They have 0. Notre Dame, on the other hand, has hit the offensive glass, has 11 offensive boards, scored 15 points off of those. Louisville's going to have to crank it up a little bit around the glass.
They have a plus 13 advantage in total rebounds in this first half for Notre Dame. This is an interesting matchup for Louisville because of the injuries. Erica Carter out because of a leg injury. We don't know if Sam Furyk is going to be coming back in the second half. What does that do for Louisville, Charlie, then when it pertains to the overall seeding for the Cardinals?
Well, we have to start taking into consideration the injuries. If Furyk's okay and she comes back in the second half, not as much to worry about. But if it's a more serious injury and she would potentially miss NCAA tournament time, player availability is something the committee would have to take into consideration, or does take into consideration as a criterion. And then we could be looking at Louisville perhaps dropping to a 2 seed. I think right now, all things being equal, Louisville will stay a 1 if they lose this game, but they will have to go out west to Portland, and Notre Dame would be in Chicago. But if we're talking about a different roster, we're talking about possibly a different seed.
What a change to the narrative. All about location early on. Now it's about injuries for Louisville. The ACC, one of 6 automatic bids on the line on this championship Sunday. How about in the SoCon? Mercer and Furman picked this one up in the second quarter. Taylor Petty here with the jumper. Furman came out with a 4-point lead, but Coach Mercer has been able to dominate this league all season long.
They have something no one else does. There she is, Kiki Calloway. She already has 20 at the half, has been on fire already, 4 3-pointers.
And Calloway as well, once again with the short jumper. Mercer, a 4-point lead, the number 1 seed in the SoCon, up by 4 at the break. How about Fordham and VCU in the A-10 championship game? Kendall Jeremiah helping the Rams cause early on by 5. It's turned out to be, Rebecca, a back-and-forth battle in this first half.
And low scoring. It's only 30-23 at the half. What's to be expected? Both of these teams hang their hat on the defensive end. Right now, Fordham doing a better job hitting their shots. 4 of 10 from the 3-point line.
Jeremiah with the drive and the score. Fordham, the 2 seed, up by 7 on VCU at the break. Is Arkansas the new Destiny darling? How about the run that the Razorbacks have had in the SEC tournament? We'll look at that coming up. The SEC shocker of them all, the 10 seed Arkansas. How about yesterday going up against Texas A&M in the semifinals? They start off this game, did Arkansas, down 17-2. But, Coach, how about the play of Chelsea Dungy in this game?
She has been terrific throughout the Southeastern Conference tournament. She scored 31 on the first night, 32 on the second night, and 17 last night. She is a tough out for anyone to guard. At 5'11", she can shoot the 3. When she goes to the floor with the basketball, she isn't the quickest, but she has great decision-making ability, great body control, and can get to the free throw line with the best of them.
Arkansas has gone through Georgia. They have gone through South Carolina, Texas A&M, and now face off with Mississippi State. 2 Eastern coming up here on ESPN2. Both teams looking for their first SEC tournament title. When you take a look at this Arkansas team, they have to now overcome the biggest challenge this season in Mississippi State, who has seen Ariel Howard just elevate her game in this conference tournament.
Yeah, Ariel Howard in their first matchup in the regular season was limited because of foul trouble, but she has been a perfect complement to Tierra McCowan. No one has an answer for McCowan 6'7" inside. Well, it's hard to have an answer for Ariel Howard as well. She's been shooting the 3-ball well. She is ridiculously energetic on both offense and defense, gets out in passing lanes, finishes the other way. This is a player who can get to the offensive glass. You'll see it here. Even if she's not going to score, keeping the ball alive, getting her team second possessions. Yesterday, she had 12 of their 16 first quarter points. You pay too much attention to McCowan inside. Ariel Howard is going to be a handful herself, driving, attacking, one of the elite athletes on the floor in any game she plays.
16 points in the regular season she averaged, Charlie, now 22 in the SEC tournament. If we hear the chants of Pig Suey and they come away with this conference championship, what does that do then for the bracket?
I think it gives the SEC 8 teams in the field, something that I didn't conceive of at all when I was in Greenville at the tournament. But I don't think Tennessee would be the team that Arkansas would knock out just yet. Tennessee is still sitting there on the bubble. They're not a lock to get in the tournament by any means. But I don't think in this case Arkansas would be taking a Lady Vols bid. It might be somebody like Ohio, who I have as the last team in right now.
You could be the mayor after hearing that of Rocky Top for sure. When you take a look at the grand scheme of this day, we've got 4 conference championships here on ESPN2, 6 total. What are you most looking forward to throughout this day?
Can Arkansas finish the job and get an SEC championship and get into the field? So, that's one as we look forward to. The game we're watching right now, of course, the talk about who's going to be in Chicago has been the utmost discussion for about the last week and a half or so. And in the Pac-12, Oregon had separated itself from the rest of the conference. Not anymore. They beat Stanford by 40 points the last time they played. I think it's going to be a closer game. And Oregon might have a tough time getting to the one line, if it's even a chance, even with a close victory, if Mississippi State is dominant in the SEC championship.
Oregon and Stanford, a rematch of last year's Pac-12 title game. Meanwhile, the SEC title game coming up at 2 Eastern here on ESPN2, Mississippi State and Arkansas, a 10 seed looking to be Destiny's darling this year. Jessica Shepard, meanwhile, has been the anchor, 13 points, 6 rebounds for Notre Dame, up by 9 over Louisville. Second half coming up as this has been the Audi halftime report.